Hi, everybody. This is Mark Mobilio for Purdue University in EDCI573, and this is my practicum project. For my project, I created an 8-week course teaching upper elementary grades 5 and 6 about jazz and the blues. The first 4 weeks, teaches them about jazz. The second 4 weeks teaches them about the blues, and I'm going to show you real quick a little bit about my project. So the first day, they learn about what jazz is, where it came from, and then they learn a little bit about ragtime, Scott Joplin, the characteristics of jazz. They have improv, swing feel, and then they learn about swing feel through Wynton Marsalis. Then they have a movement activity where they listen to a song that switches back and forth between swing and straight feel, and they move depending on the feel. Next, they learn about Duke Ellington, who is very famous, and my students live in DC. He is from DC, so that's one of the reasons I chose Duke Ellington. They learn one of his songs. They play it. It's only 2 notes. It's really simple. Play it on the xylophones, and then that is the end of day 1. Day 2, they learn about improvisation. What is it? And then they start again, C Jam Blues, a little recap, and then they improvise on a blues, jazz blues, but only on 1 note to make it easy. They learn about audience etiquette, and then Louis Armstrong. After Louis Armstrong, they learn about instrumentation and the number of people in a jazz group. And now we add the note G to the improvisation, and that is the end of lesson 2. Lesson 3 is about the blues form. Where they listen some more, they improvise more, they learn about syncopation, and that's an example of syncopation. Then they learn about Wynton Marsalis, who, like Louis Armstrong, is a jazz musician, jazz trumpet player from New Orleans. More improvisation. Then they learn about form and a blues form, jazz blues, which is only has 3 notes, 12-bar blues. That's what it is. They play the root of each chord on the xylophones to a drum track, and that's the end. Lesson 4 is just an assessment. There's a little bit of listening, and that's the rubric. There's a written assessment and an improvisation assessment. This is the assessment for the improv part. The next 4 weeks discusses the blues, and they learn about the blues. So first they think about everything that's blue, which leads them to feeling blue, feeling sad, and that's what the blues are about. A little history of the blues, why it's sung. They learn about instruments, and then Muddy Waters, and his influence today. And they listen to one of his songs. Again, now the form of a blues is a little more focused on, and the improvisation is a little more complicated because they've been doing this for 5 weeks now. They dissect the words a little bit, how there's rhyming, and then the form is AAB, and there's a problem, and solution. And then lyrics and writing, so they listen to more about lyrics, learn about B.B. King, and then a little bit about his guitar, Lucille. And they listen to one of his songs, and we dissect the words a little bit, how it's problem, solution. And then we keep going, and it goes on and on about dissecting the lyrics, because eventually they're going to have to write their own blues. So it's a lot of emphasis. Talk about how it's pretty simple. The words aren't crazy. It's not a lot going on in the words, but it has a good message. Let's go to the next slide. Computer's trying to keep up. So we write a blues as a class, as a brainstorm. We brainstorm everything, and there we go. Little rules and suggestions. Then we play it and sing it as a class, and that's the end. Group 3, they're split into projects, and there's requirements for the projects. There's minimum of 2 verses. They have to play or sing, and they have to improvise, and each person in the group has a role, and that's the performance order. And then the last day, week 8, lesson 4 of the blues, is performances. They get 10 minutes in the beginning of the day, in the beginning of class, to practice, and then they're playing and they are graded, and that's the rubric. Some of my favorite parts about this project was learning about the blues. I studied jazz all throughout my undergrad, and I understand the blues. I know how it works, but I didn't have like concrete evidence, so I had to do a lot of research on the blues to make sure I had everything correct. And listening to music, I have a Spotify playlist that goes along with this whole performance, and I'm really excited. I start teaching this on Monday. My administrator at my school told me she wants a blues concert, so it should be a lot of fun, and that's my project.